The Al Smith Memorial Foundation Dinner, commonly known as the Al Smith Dinner, an annual white tie dinner in New York City to raise funds. This is the best. To raise funds for Catholic charities. And then Trump goes up and roasts everybody in attendance. Here's some clips. I found some of the highlights of Trump's speech from last night. He goes off. We'll start with, I believe the first clip that I sent over was... Sorry, the first clip is Tim Walz 1. This is where Trump talks about Tim Walz, the current vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, not being in attendance at the dinner, noticeably absent, were both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who I don't know if you guys have. I have not seen Tim Walz doing any media in the past couple of days.
You know why?
I don't know.
There's a lot of room. Listen, there's a lot of speculation. There was even a video of him. God bless you, Kelly. Of him doing some. These are, mind you, all allegations, all allegedly doing some suspect stuff with some young boys. This is all over the internet. It's all over X. Some guy even made a video. He's been quiet. And mind you, Rob, you made a great point. They're supposed to be at this thing. Hillary, the last time Trump was here, it was him, and he was killed. Hillary and everybody. Like he eviscerated everybody. They're supposed to be here, but they're not, and we all know the reasons why. But Rob, go ahead.
Here's clip number 1. Tim Walz not being in attendance.
But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods. But then I met Tim Walz. But unfortunately...
Time out. That is so... But like, because obviously he didn't write it, but the fact that he's saying it and there's a bishop and a cardinal right next to him is brilliant.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's saying this backdropped against a whole bunch of other high-profile Democrats. Like Chuck Schumer is right next to him.
Oh, we have him talking about Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We could skip the next Tim Walz clip and go straight to the Chuck Schumer clip.
That's one of my favorites.
Clip number 2. This is where he calls. What did he say to Chuck Schumer?
Glum. He looks a little glum.
He looks a little glum, and
he's right next to him, patting him on the back.
And you remember, Chuck Schumer is the person who tweeted Happy Memorial Day, and then he tweeted a photo of himself grilling a raw burger.
Yes, with cheese on it.
With cheese on it, like any reptilian would do.
Right.
Here is Trump talking about Chuck Schumer, Amy Schumer's uncle.
coming in very, very strong a certain way. I won't tell you what way that is, but Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
Oh, my God. Oh, dude, he's so funny. By the way, I know he didn't write him, but his delivery is freaking awesome.
That was my question, is do you guys think that Trump wrote his own jokes, or do you think he hired writers? He's really good off the cuff. But I don't know if, because these are very much structured as the typical joke. Set up, punchline.
Yes.
Chuck Schumer is here. He looks very glum. And then this punchline,
yeah.
Well, if Kamala loses, you could be a woman. So there's very much the typical joke structure. I don't know if he wrote those or he actually hired a comedian to write it. But if so, he's been around a bunch of comedians recently, most notably Andrew Schultz, and he may be going on Joe Rogan. Do you guys think Trump wrote his act, or do you think Trump had writers write the jokes for him?
Rob, I wrote it. I hate to be the guy. Guys, it was me, the tampon one, the period. No. But I think he hired somebody. I think he kind of mentioned it inside. He's like, I didn't want that one in there. I didn't write. He said something.
He's like, that's a nasty one.
That's a nasty one. But like, because Rob, you've seen his schedule. You've seen how he was in and out of this place. I don't think he's sitting there going over the jokes. I think 5 minutes, 10 minutes before, they're like, hey, Mr. President, here you go. And he's like, I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
You know the great thing about him though is like that he has no problem admitting that. Like, you know, I bet if you asked him, he would say, "Yeah, no, somebody wrote it for me. I had some input." But he doesn't
for
care.
sure.
Like even with the Assyrian thing, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't know who they were before."
Yeah.
Like, so he's not gonna try to like cringely hide the fact that he didn't know something or that he had somebody do something from word like the other side would do that. But you know, it doesn't matter to me at all because he's like strip hilarious off the cuff. Like he was talking about the Federal Reserve the other day and like had an entire room of economy and business people laughing at a joke about the Federal Reserve Chairman. He's like, oh yeah, this guy has the easiest job in the world. He walks in once a month and flips a coin. Oh, should I raise rates or not? Like
turns it on and turns it off.
Yeah, like how do you make a like hilarious joke about the Federal Reserve Chairman within 2 seconds just off the top of your head? You know, he's one of the funniest people in the world.
Was that at the Bloomberg event?
It was.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting about that event is that I overheard Trump's team talking with our team prior to the interview.
Yeah.
His team was in studio talking with Pat and some of the executives from Valuetainment. One of the things that they had mentioned is the Bloomberg interview. And what the campaign official said was, you know what's crazy is those weren't our people in attendance.
Right.
We didn't fill the room. This wasn't a, hey, if you would like to see Donald Trump, text Trump to 5911 and get free tickets. Bloomberg filled the room.
Wow.
And that audience reaction that you hear throughout him burning people, like he called Gavin Newsom, and then the guy goes, you mean Gavin Newsom? And he's like, no, I mean Gavin Newscum. That's what I call it. Like, and then the crowd cheers for that. That is not MAGA. That is not Trump followers. That's the public that Bloomberg brought
it's
in.
their club.
Point. That's a great point.
And he destroys in front of it's like an away game for him.
Right.
He's going into because it was held in New York,
Chicago. I think.
Chicago. Oh, even more of
Even
an away
worse.
game. Barack
Even worse.
Obama's hometown. He's lucky he didn't get shot being in Chicago. So he's in Chicago. It's the enemy's turf, and he goes and riffs in front of a crowd that should be against him, and they're all in support of him. And if you guys have seen the Vegas odds going into the election, Trump is now favored by 30 points in some Vegas betting like websites where he's up by 30 points to go.
Rob, he went. By the way, the worst, and we talked about it yesterday. The Brett Baer thing is really like it. We just sent. I just saw a chart. Brandon, was it you that sent us? What just happened. Oh, Adam did in the past 2 days. It has been horrible for her. They know it's happening. By the way, she's doing those stupid things, call her daddy, whatever, and trying to be cool. Yesterday, he was in Brooklyn or the Bronx. He walked into a barber shop and sat with these people and talked to a bunch of people that were getting haircuts. That's who he is, bro. He's cool. He's shaking hands. He's the man of the people, and I'm telling you right now, the shift is happening right now. Crunch time, fourth quarter. But the one thing that concerns me is what they're going to do because they're the Democratic Party is like a caged animal in a corner. Who knows what they're going to do next? But go ahead, Rob. Keep
and Kamala Harris not in attendance at the Al Smith dinner. She is the first presidential candidate to decline the invitation to the event. The last person to decline the invitation that was a presidential candidate was Vice President Walter Mondale in 1984.
Wow.
How did that work out
He
for
did
him?
not do. He lost.
Landslide.
Landslide lost.
I wish I had this clip. I did not see this, but Trump actually addressed Kamala Harris not being in attendance. He said during last night's event, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here guaranteed.
Oh, man.
Here are some more clips of Donald Trump. I believe the next one that we have here is him talking about childcare and how it is a very important issue going into the 2024 election. It's something that Kamala has campaigned on. However, Trump wanted to issue a warning to both Kamala as well as her husband, Doug Emhoff, about possible childcare solutions. Kelly, if we could play the
This
clip.
is the nasty one.
A major issue in this race is child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep
Oh,
them
my
alone.
God.
That's a nasty one.
Oh, man, that's so
By the
good.
way, that's so because he got his nanny pregnant. Dude, that's
And
really
you can
good.
even tell, dude, the way he paused before he delivered that punchline, there was a split second where he's like, well, I'm too far in now.
Yeah,
I can't bail. So he goes for the, what do you say, go for the gusto?
Go for the gusto.
He did it.
And then he goes, that's a nasty. Good for him. They
Here
deserve
is
it.
my final clip. This is my favorite one of the entire night. This is where Donald Trump talks about we talked about this on the podcast. Remember, there has been a propaganda campaign surrounding Kamala Harris. You've all watched it. First, it was the brat summer. Then it became the white dudes for Harris. Then they put out the most uncomfortable cringe video that I have ever seen. Did you guys see the one where it's like, I'm proud to be a man.
Yeah.
Vote for Kamala.
Oh. Yeah.
And then they went and listed, like, what they listed at Kelly. I don't know if we can find that video. Could you look real quick for the, it's men voting for Kamala campaign ad. It's so crazy because you watch this ad, and as these people list, these guys, these manly men, what they're listing as manly activities is what I feel like a gay woman would list what male activities would be. Mowing the lawn, painting the garage. Like, it seems like somebody put in ChatGPT, what do men do? And then it spit out a list, and they made a cringeworthy campaign ad. This is it. Look at these. And it's so crazy. I'm sorry to say this. Every guy that's in this ad looks gayer than the next one.
Well, Rob.
Well, you want to know something
looks
funny is one of the guys, this black guy, I believe, he says something to the effect of, like, I'm man enough to be able to braid my daughter's hair. Turns out he is gay or bisexual, and he does not have any children.
They identified all of these guys, and they are all
actors.
Like off-Broadway actors. Half of them are gay, the other half.
Because what straight guy would do this?
Yeah.
They all.
So when you say this is like what gay men or women would think of what a man is, you're absolutely right. It was written by women and performed by gay men.
No way. That's crazy. I had no idea.
But what happened to the days, though, of, like, political masterminds? Like, you know, like the whole, like, Karl Rove or the James, whatever his name was. Like, there used to be a time where they could, like, capture people psychologically and make them think a certain way, not what, like, through, like, masterful propaganda. But what the hell is this? Like, this almost makes me think they're trying to sabotage the thing.
Oh, I haven't seen it, and I can't wait to be bothered
it
by
is
it. But
it is
I haven't
propaganda,
seen it. But I just want, from my point of view, there's no such thing as bi. Okay, you're gay, but you have occasional straight flashbacks.
Yeah,
you're gay.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, they're like, I'm bi. No, you're gay, but you go back the other way too.
But we had Destiny on, and he's like, well, I sleep with dudes 30% of the time.
You're gay.
And I'm like, that makes you 100% gay.
Yeah, you're gay. Just admit it.
You do
go
it
on.
one time.
All right, all right, Kelly. Let's. Oh God, I'm gonna say the word cringe. Here we go.
Man. I'm a man,
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Meat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are.
You see how,
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost,
going on?
even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a fight.
I think we get the point.
Hold on, wait, hey, Rob.
I'm man enough to be
the one guy
emotional.
that's sitting like this, like, hey, listen, I'm a man, and I like just sitting on trucks with a windmill in the back. Shut the hell up, bro.
I like the guy that was the size of a U-Haul truck's like, I eat carburetors for breakfast. Among the entire
Or that
Denny's.
one guy that they're very clearly trying to make this guy look like he's some sort of tough biker, but he looks like the kind of guy who you'd catch like smoking meth out of a light bulb behind a Denny's.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's like
God.
they don't know what actual people are like.
Well, that's
shows how out of touch
Well,
they
that's
are.
that's the question that I want to ask you guys is what has happened to the Democratic Party where they've lost touch, bro? That looks like a freaking comedy SNL.
does.
No, but Brandon, what I want to know is who's in charge or what whoever's running the show has lost their freaking mind. No, you're not getting votes with that. You're not doing this white guys for Kamala and Tim Walz and all these weird ass tactics. Who is in charge of you guys? It doesn't work.
Do you think there's like a single person in the world who like that message had the effect they wanted
Yes.
on them?
Yes,
Like,
I do.
It's scary, but
No,
there's dumb people.
I don't think there is though. I think if anything that like turned people the other way.
I agree that it's turning the majority of the people the opposite way. But Brandon, 90% of Americans are kind of walking around like
It's a brain rot. Like this, like woke leftist ideology, like really causes like rotting from the inside out, and that's why so many of them look so like old and like decrepit and like not good, because that evil, it literally rots you from the inside out. Like these people have actually lost.
That's why liberal and that's why Democrat. Have you seen the average liberal I hate Trump woman? They're so unattractive
busted.
because you nailed it, Amy. It sits in here and then it comes out and you start looking like Rosie O'Donnell. That's what she looks
Just
like.
Rosie
that.
O'Donnell.
Yeah, just what go ahead, Rob. What do you think?
Somebody posted the photo of Mark Cuban with glasses on Twitter and said Mark Cuban with glasses has finally morphed into Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, like
and they look
lesbian.
exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah, they're so unattractive. What else? Go ahead, Rob.
This is the final clip that we have from the Al Smith dinner last night in New York. Here is Donald Trump talking about the white dudes that are voting for Kamala Harris.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
He just called them all cucks.
Yep, all
People are
freaking
voting.
By the way, and Rob, because I know that was the last clip, and you don't have to look for it, Kelly. There was one more because he was talking about Eric Adams, and he was kind of being He's like, Eric Adams got a lot of trouble, but you're gonna beat it. He goes, guys, we have to get out of this room shortly because Eric Adams is gonna fill it with all the illegals that want to come into the hotel. Oh my God, bro, just brilliant, brilliant comedy. But
I mean,
yeah, man. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just gonna say, like, not every highly intelligent person is comedic, but pretty much every single comedian I know is very highly intelligent. Like those two traits are
Present
very
company included.
Thank you.
Present
company included.
There are
Like,
exceptions to every rule.
but you know, it's like these two traits are very highly correlated. And so, you know, you ask, could Trump have written his own jokes? I think honestly he could have. He probably doesn't have the time, but he has the capability. That's what matters, because he is a very, very intelligent man, and it takes a lot of intelligence to be that funny.
I think so. I agree.
He's such an impressive dude. Like I was talking to the guys about his schedule the other day, like his team that was here, and like they're in 1 to 2 states every day at multiple events. Like, you know, he's almost 80. Yeah, I could never imagine my grandparents being in multiple states every day, traveling, giving speeches with energy. It's
Bro,
insane.
look how Brandon last night. Look at what you had to do to prep for this thing. You were exhausted. You're in your 20s. This guy's 80, bro.
Yeah.
80.
It's a miracle if
like
my
he's a
grandparents are in
superhero.
multiple rooms.
in the house. But dude, I mean, I think it was great. The fact that Kamala didn't show up says a lot about her. And yeah, man, Rob, great freaking. I'm happy you added some freaking comedy to today. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.